You're listening to the Manifest Your Greatness podcast, and this is episode number 74. Do you have a goal that you'd love to accomplish, but just don't know where to start? Or maybe you've gotten off to a great start, but just can't seem to get out of first gear? I'm Curtis J. Washington, founder of the Manifest Your Greatness coaching program, and I've helped people from all walks of life manifest the greatness that they already possess deep inside. If you are committed to taking the steps required to become the best version of yourself, you've come to the right place. This is the Manifest Your Greatness podcast. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this episode of the Manifest Your Greatness podcast, where we explore practical and actionable steps to help you manifest the greatness that you already possess deep inside. So before we get started today, I just wanted to let you know that we have some amazing guests lined up for the podcast in the months ahead. So please continue to get your updates on when these new episodes come out, because there's going to be some very just fun, exciting, mind-bending, uplifting, just really inspirational, educational content that is coming your way very soon. I love having the opportunity to interview these wonderful guests that I have. It's always so much more fun to be able to kind of bounce ideas and concepts off of someone else there and give you some real life examples of what's really going on and how people are really leveraging everything that they've got within and bringing it out and doing just unbelievable things, not only for themselves, but for people all around them, all over. So I cannot wait. So please do continue to follow the podcast. There's some amazing, amazing new and exciting and inspiring content coming out soon. Also, the manifestyourgreatness.com website has been updated. There are additional resources. I keep putting out free stuff. There's more ebooks now available on the website, so please go ahead and take advantage of those free resources. Again, I'm also now accepting clients again. I was completely just a little backed up with requests, but now I'm starting to be able to manage that a little bit better. So we do have some openings. Anyone who's looking for professional life coaching, definitely go ahead and reach out. I'm also doing group coaching as well for businesses and organizations as well. So check that out. And today I would like to talk to you about how to ride your highs better and to manage your lows better. How to ride your highs better and manage your lows better. What I mean by that is that when you find yourself professionally doing something that has exceeded your expectations, things are going really well, things are moving forward, you're really happy with your progress, it's exciting, right? Everybody loves that. Everybody loves that feeling. But it can leave you dazed and confused, right? You can be in this state of euphoria and be so excited about how things are going and be on cloud nine and, celebrating, not that you shouldn't, but celebrating maybe a little too much, maybe relaxing a little too much. And that's the time when things that are going on in the background may slip, the details may slip, things that you don't expect might start to slowly reveal themselves, and you may miss it because you're riding this high. You may be spending a little bit more money than you should, maybe not doing as much research as you should, maybe not taking on as many new projects as you should, maybe not managing your investments, as aggressively or as carefully as you should. So things can kind of, get a little soft when things start to go well in terms of, your process. So what I want to talk about today is, first of all, let's start with that. So when you're riding high and things are looking great, of course you should take a moment to celebrate and recognize yourself and all of the people who have been a part of the journey, helping this things come to fruition as they have. But take some time and start looking behind the scenes. Peel back the curtain a little bit, because when things look like they're going great, we all know everything happens in cycles, right? We all know there's 4 seasons, right? There's always going to be winter after fall and spring after winter and so on and so forth, right? Night follows day, for every for every happy moment that you have, every great, exciting thing that happens to you, of course, there is going to be some things that are going to be more dramatic and unfortunately some tragedies that you're also going to have to weather as well. So it's a cycle. I'm not saying don't enjoy the time being up here and being, things going well, but take that time to, think of it as a signal. When things are usually going great, is usually the time when things are likely to go wrong, especially if you're not paying close attention. Not saying that you're destined to have, your business that's, on a hockey stick trajectory, all of a sudden you go bankrupt or anything like that. But what I am saying is that when things are going well, it opens up a lot more opportunities for things to go unnoticed, because you can kind of gloss over them with that lens of, those rose-colored glasses, right? So take the time to really start investigating and really even double down a little bit on some of your process management, looking at things more carefully, looking at any analytics that you're typically doing, and especially how you're using your money and your time. Make sure that you are really, when things are going great, make sure to use that as an opportunity to really see where you can, take a closer look at what's really going on. And also, don't sit on those, on the benefits of those. So you don't want to rest on your laurels, right? When things are going well, that's when also you want to be thinking about where else can I be excelling? How else can I take what I'm learning and what's going well for me now? How can I refine that? How can I build on that? As an entrepreneur and business owner, I will tell you that one of the most frightening times for me is when my businesses are going well, or a particular business is going really well, and I look at my bank account and I've got more money in there than I expected. And any entrepreneur or business owner probably understands what I'm talking about, because when you start seeing money and you start seeing cash, you start wondering, where are you missing your opportunities, right? Because cash, of course, devalues over time. You want to be figuring out how to take that and invest it, how to take that and turn it into some new developments or some new businesses or some new strategies. You want to keep going, new learning, anything, right? That's a resource, and it needs to be reinvested. You have money coming in. Of course, if you're sitting on your cash, it's not working for you, right? So that's an example, right? So think about times like that. When you start noticing things, start to realize that you've got an opportunity here to do more. So take it. Maybe it's giving more to a charity. Maybe it's giving more of your time. Maybe it's reaching out to some customers and clients and getting feedback, really understanding how your services are serving them, getting a better, clearer understanding of that, right? So that you can refine your strategy and you can continue to move forward. But definitely start to really take those times when things are going well as opportunities to really take a closer look and just keep that feeling that, you've been down before. If you're not careful, you can end up there again. So enjoy that time, celebrate it. But at the same time, make sure you're using that time to really look at what could be behind the scenes, what could be around the corner, all those contingency plans that you plan to put into place but never did. Perfect time to do it. Okay. So that's what I mean about riding your highs. Now, managing your lows. Now, when things are going bad, this is, of course, it's a time that can be trying on, people emotionally, and it can be mentally draining and it can be discouraging. But the way that I always try to look at things is that, like I said before, we all know there's 4 seasons. We all know night follows day, etc. Right? So we all know it's just a cycle. If you're able to accept it for what it is, a cycle, and able to understand that, just like the highs, there's just as much, if not more, to learn from the lows. So take that time to double down and drill down on what's going on, what is working, what isn't working. Start to use those failures, and I call them failures just because I don't see them as anything wrong. Some people hear failure and they think, oh, that's a terrible thing, I don't want to fail. Well, this is a great time to remind yourself when things aren't going well that you've learned something, right? Some of the greatest speakers, some of the greatest motivational speakers, some of the greatest entrepreneurs of all time will tell you the reason they are so successful is because they failed often and they failed quickly, right? And it's not like everybody goes out and says, I want to lose. I don't want to be, the best whatever at what I'm doing. But what happens is as you're exploring new concepts and as you're moving forward and you're trying to grow and do new things, you're inevitably going to run into situations where things don't work out as planned, right? So that is, that's what's happening here. This is just, it's a moment in time where that's what's happened. But it's not about that moment. It's not about that situation, and it's not an end all or be all. It is what it is. It's a moment in time, like any other moment. It's going to pass. But how are you going to let it pass? Are you going to let it pass and not learn from it and just be discouraged and say, I don't want to I'm not going to try this again. Maybe I wasn't cut out for this. Maybe I'll do something different. Or are you going to use it as an opportunity to understand why it didn't go wrong, why it didn't go as planned, and really start to figure out how you can build on that, and the next time you'll be able to actually move forward much more effectively and much more successfully. Because if you think about it, right, every failure, when things crumble down, that's a new foundation to build on, right? You think of a building that goes up. If the building comes down, when people they demolish buildings, right? And then they're going to build something else on it. And it comes down, you have another foundation you can build upon. So it's not like all is lost. It's not like your whatever you're working on has crumbled and there's nowhere to go from here. The only way to go is up, right? So these are opportunities for you to learn and to grow from. So when things don't go your way, you can think about them in a much more enlightening and positive way. The way that I look at it, of course, every time I fail, I realize, okay, I'm learning. Why did I fail? First of all, I want to understand that. But then I also remind myself, I think of it as if you were to pay money for a training course or something like that, right? You drop whatever it is, $1,000, whatever it is for a training course, and then you have to take what you've learned. You got to build something with it, right? Just because you took the training course doesn't mean it's going to turn you into anything magically overnight, right? Now you have some more knowledge. What are you going to do with it? Failures are exactly the same. Think of it as the cost of your education, right? Things don't go well. Okay, that's not what we planned, but we did a lot to get things where they were. We realized that things didn't go the way that we wanted to. We have all this that we've learned on the way, right? None of that is ever wasted. None of it is ever wasted. So when you are in your lows, manage those lows by thinking about what you can learn from them, by understanding what went wrong, by thinking about how you can refine your approach going forward. And it's just like going through the cycle in any type of development, right? You're going to have 1.0 and 1.5 and 2.0, and you're going to keep going. And each version should be building upon not only the successes, but should be incorporating those failures, what broke, and fixing those, right? So these are opportunities to grow. So when things are not going well, don't get discouraged. Of course, everybody's going to feel down for a little while, but don't stay there. Don't stay there and start, feeling like a victim and start feeling like there's nothing I can do and the world's against me. Don't stay there. It's okay to be there for a short period of time because you feel like you've been knocked down. Everybody gets knocked down. It's no fun to be on the canvas, right? But don't stay there. You want to be able to take what you've learned, pick yourself up, and keep going. So when you are managing those lows, think about those situations as opportunities to build from. Think of them as opportunities that you learn from. Think about them as opportunities you will grow from, and you will grow from them. And also remember, it's just a moment in time. What you're going to do with this moment, that's what's going to make the difference going forward. If you're just thinking about it and feeling disgusted and loss of motivation and your process falls apart, you're not going anywhere. You're caught in a maelstrom, right? You're just going in circles, and eventually you are going to go down, right? You're not going to be happy with yourself. You're going to be even more disappointed and depressed about everything in general that went wrong. So use these opportunities to build on, to grow on. They're not comfortable, they're not pleasant, but they are necessary episodes we need to go through for growth. So those are two things I really want you to think about today. One is to be able to take those highs and ride them, but ride them the right way. Don't ride them and expect them to last, and don't ride them blindly, right? Don't ride them thinking you can keep doing the same things that you're doing now and continue to be successful. Because one thing we all know is change is imminent. There's always going to be regulatory changes. There's going to be all kinds of other industry related changes. There's going to be taste changes. There's going to be technology changes. All that's going to happen. So when you're riding that high, think about these things. Dig deep and figure out how you can continue to grow based on this understanding that everything is a cycle. How am I going to continue to ride this wave and make the most of it? Now, when you're feeling low, when things aren't going well, it's an educational process. The faster you fail, the faster you're going to get back up and you're going to move forward and succeed. And one of my good friends, Anupi, that I had on the show before, Anupi Singhal, I listened to her episode when she talks about her book as well. But she mentioned this: the more you take on, the more you try, the more things don't go your way, the more things, the more failures that you have, you'll see the succession, you'll see the progress, because you'll fail. And she used to say, and I would want ice cream for a few days, I'd be down on myself, and then I'd be like, okay, all right, I got to get back in there. And then what she mentioned is that as those failures piled up, the recovery time shrunk. So when she started running into obstacles that knocked her back, she got up faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. And that's what professionals do. So keep that in mind, right? So that's my challenge to you today. Ride your highs responsibly, reflect on them, learn from them, and make sure that you're gleaning information that can help you continue to grow, and maintain those lows, manage those lows by really understanding what they are. And what they are opportunities. What they are is education. What they are building blocks to come back bigger, better, faster, stronger. And you're only going to grow from them. No time is lost. No experience is ever lost. That is the cost of growth, and it will pay off. Thank you so much for tuning in for this episode of the Manifest Your Greatness podcast. And I look forward to spending time with you again on an episode in the near future.